So, in the trio series, today we are going to see the trio hemorrhagic remedies, that is Erigion, Trillium and Millefolium. Regarding Erigion, there are hemorrhage caused and cured by this remedy. There is a persistent hemorrhage from bladder, hemorrhage from uterus and painful micturition. There is a profuse bright red blood. Along with it, there is congestion, smarting and burning sensation. And bleeding from nosebleed is there with congested red face. In stomach, there is a vomitus of blood, of pure blood. And in rectum, hemorrhoids with bleeding, hard lumpy stools. And in female complaints, metrorrhagia with bright red blood with violent irritation of rectum and bladder. There is a profuse leukorrhea and also bloody lochia returns after least exertion. A bloody discharge on slightest exertion in pregnant women with weak uterus, bleeding hemorrhoids, nosebleed instead of menses. And in Millefolium, it is an invaluable remedy for various types of hemorrhages of blood bright red. There is a profuse, painless, bright red fluid hemorrhage, nosebleed, hemoptysis, oozing of blood from the edge of closed wounds from overexertion, etc. Wounds bleed profuse, especially from a fall. Hemorrhages of mechanical origin, painless hemorrhage, hemorrhage without fever, where with fever is pharynpause, hemorrhage without anxiety, with anxiety is aconite, internal hemorrhages from overexertion or injury. In nose, there is a nosebleed like Erigion as well, and there is a hemorrhage from bowels, bleeding hemorrhoids, urine is bloody, hematuria is there with pain in the region of left kidneys, and hemorrhage is there from uterus, bright red, useful for prolonged bleeding on a hard labor, postpartum hemorrhages, uterine hemorrhages after great exertion, hemorrhage after labor, abortion or miscarriage. There is hemoptysis in incipient itis. In Trillium pendulum, it is a great general hemorrhagic medicine and great faintness and dizziness. Chronic diarrhea of bloody mucus, uterine hemorrhages, hemorrhage of all kind, antepartum, postpartum, climacteric, fibroid tumors, gushing, bright red. And this also has nosebleed, bleeding after tooth extraction, uterine hemorrhages, sensation as if hip and back were falling into pieces, gushing of bright red on least movement, metrorrhagia climacteric, lochia suddenly became bloody, useful in menses every 2 weeks, lasting with profuse flooding and fainting, cough is there with splitting of blood. All three has almost similar symptoms with the minor changes, where hemorrhage of Trillium pendulum has more of a tiredness, weakness and fainting, whereas in Millefolium there is painless, without anxiety hemorrhage, and also hemorrhage after trauma. And in Erigion, there is a hemorrhage with smarting and burning, with hemorrhage on least exertion.